the speaker that might be? It is unclear. Kevin McCarthy is very much poised to be the next Speaker of the House, having the majority in the House as Republicans will, but it's not going to be a shoo-in. And this is according to CNN's Lauren Fox, who has done some reporting that he don't got the votes. He doesn't have the votes yet. She reported this morning, time is running short. For Minority Leader Kevin McCarthy to secure votes, he needs to be elected House Speaker 1 week from today. So next week, the newly elected Congress will be sworn in, but several incoming Republicans have already said they will not vote for McCarthy's bid to be Speaker. The question is, who? Who is holding out? Who do they want to be Speaker? This is going to be fun. And by fun, I mean, we're gonna laugh at their expense, and I'm with it. So who is abstaining? Who doesn't want Kevin McCarthy to be Speaker? At least 5 GOP lawmakers have publicly said they won't back his speakership bid. McCarthy can't afford to lose more than 4 votes. Or else he risks sinking his chances when the House meets to vote on January 3rd. That list includes Representative Bob Good, Andy Biggs of Arizona, Matt Gaetz of Florida, Ralph Norman, and Matt Rosendale. Now there's a couple, those Andy Biggs and Gaetz, we understand why they'd probably be against McCarthy, because they don't think he is enough of a Trump loyalist, right? He did not do enough on January 6th like they did. In fact, if you remember, Kevin McCarthy was texting with the president going, call off your dogs. And the president was like, they're not my dogs. And Kevin McCarthy was, they literally are chanting your name. They're your people. So that was a strike against him in the MAGA eyes. Then we got Representative Chip Roy of Texas, who has not confirmed how he plans to vote on January 3rd, but has repeatedly said McCarthy does not currently have the votes to be Speaker, which kind of feels like he's gonna vote no. 36 lawmakers voted against McCarthy in a secret ballot vote last month, nominating him for the speakership. So again, he can't afford to lose them. However, Dan, before I go to you, let's go to this. I messed this up too, but let's go to this thought. He's got one person who's in his corner. Can you guess who it is? You might be surprised. Take a look.
Pressure is mounting on Kevin McCarthy to lock up those remaining votes. The state of play right now is there are 5 conservatives who have said that they will not support Kevin McCarthy for Speaker without some kind of concession. There could be more. Some conservatives arguing behind the scenes that there are more concerns growing.
So she's basically laying out what I did. I was referring to the second clip. Oh, wonderful producers. Take a look at who is supporting Kevin McCarthy for speakership.
Why do you stand with Kevin McCarthy or Ronna McDaniel? That's another 2 I get all the time, and we don't understand why. Because to me, I don't like them either, like McConnell, to me. But you tell me, go ahead.
I'll tell you. Look, first of all, I think Kevin has really worked hard. I think perhaps most importantly, we're playing a very dangerous game. We have a majority of literally a few votes, and you could end up with somebody just horrible. You could end up with a horrible speaker, including possibly a Democrat speaker. So they're playing a very dangerous game. You know, I could tell you a lot about, look, I know so much about this particular thing, but they're playing a very, very dangerous game. They really are.
I get it. He's better than the worst case scenario.
There you go. And remember, the Democrats were having a similar conversation back when progressive Democrats were thinking about not voting for Nancy Pelosi, right? They did not want a worse outcome, which could have been a Republican. It would have taken a lot to get a Republican speaker when the Democrats controlled the House. But there you have it. Trump is understanding how the government works. And even though he hasn't been fully in the MAGA lane, he hasn't been out of it. In fact, I think Kevin McCarthy's done a great job of riding the line. Dan, what do you think about this ringing endorsement from the former president?
I mean, yeah, on the one hand, he's ridden the line a little bit, but on the other hand, he's been on the presidential hotline like, hey, yo, call off your guys. Oh, no, they're not my guys. Like, oh, no, they're literally your guys.
Yeah.
I love that denial. That's so funny. Just like, oh, these my people, the stand back and stand by people, we're gonna take on my people. Me, really? Like, how dare you? I love
Trump
all that stuff. Trump, what name so? I don't know, but I I cannot possibly like. Kevin McCarthy is so funny. I love that you touched on that thing that did happen last year, because boy, did my particular place being a former TYT host who used to work with Demi Jor and like all the force the vote thing, like you just triggered a lot of stuff right there. But it's a lot. It's really fun to look at it on the other side now, where you have there's one time where Trump was kind of right here. There is actually a really deep scheme where the Republicans are like, the 5 Republicans they're talking about who are basically gonna challenge McCarthy's speakership are saying, oh, we're gonna put forward someone else who's like secret, who's not even one of us 5, who's against like you, but gonna unite us as a party. Like, folks in chat know this is how I am with the current Republican caucus, because it's so narrow and full of so many competing factions who want nothing but their own power, but they're seeking it in their own like Machiavellian ways. Let them fight. I love to watch it, and all really like policy wise, what it means is it's going to give Democrats openings to where they might be able to pull 3, 5, optimistically maybe even 10 Republican Congress people on a bill here and there to get it up the House. And then once it's in the Senate and to the White House, that's much easier to pass from a Democratic perspective of legislation.
And I think that it is important to know the House is much more representative and it's bigger. And on things like what I'm looking forward to, which is the codification of Roe v. Wade, yes, I think that 5 Republicans would support something like that, because their bases want something like that. Even if they are more conservative on other issues, right? A standing human right for 50 years, they don't want that rolled back, right? I mean, so again, like I do think not only is Kevin McCarthy's path to speakership narrow, but this House's path to doing anything popular is also incredibly narrow. Yesterday, we looked at the ways that even Fox News is saying, hey, when you have the power, do something other than Hunter Biden trials, because nobody's here for that except for Andrew Tate, who's very, very there for that. He's like, I want the D picks. But like
Musk
so.
Too.
Oh, Musk is there for that. I mean, right? All of these idiots are there for it, but regular voters want to see action. It doesn't matter who's in power. In fact, it does matter who's in power. And if you don't get it done, they're gonna know that you were in power and you squandered that opportunity. So anyway, we shall see. I agree with you. Let them fight, and I'm curious to see if any of these Republicans will go on the record, right? Like, are they gonna start speaking out? What are they gonna say about Kevin McCarthy? And from which angle are they gonna attack him on? This is a guy who, he hasn't even chided some of the most extreme parts of his own party, Marjorie Taylor Greene, Lauren Boebert, but he hasn't necessarily defended them. He's trying to have it both ways. We'll see if he can pull it off.
For more political news, breakdowns, interviews, stories of activism, and me trying my hardest to care about the occasional big celebrity news story, subscribe to our YouTube channel at youtube.com/The Damage Report. And you can ring the bell wherever it is so you don't miss anything.